Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am DM Bluddworth, and as you can see by the graphics, I am going to delve a little bit into OneD&D and its newest proposed OGL 1.1. But I'm going to approach this from an OSR gamer's opinion or perspective. Now, I know everybody has been on this bandwagon talking about this, and I wanted to, I just wanted to put out my own opinion out there on it because I do think that I have a slightly different view than what I've come across so far. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the direct source of the document, and I am switching over. So I went to D&D Beyond. I know a lot of gaming, um, internet journalist sites or journalism sites, if you want to even call it that, but a lot of gaming sites have already spoken about this. I wanted to go straight to D&D Beyond and start taking a look at what they actually say. So they begin off, I'm not going to go into their introduction here, the interests and passions of the community. Listen, Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro only cares about the interests and passion of its shareholders and and its own interest and passion in making money. So let's set all of this flowery, we're really concerned about the community in that sense aside. And I'm not saying that to be overly negative. It's just a reality, right? So will OneD&D include an SRD and be covered by an OGL? Yes, it will. What they're going to do is they're developing a OGL 1.1, which they state here in number 2. It will be released sometime in early 2023, probably be more mid 2023, but we'll see. The OGL needs to be updated to ensure that it keeps doing what it was intended to do, allow the D&D community's independent creators to build and play and grow the game we all love. Again, that's bullcrap. What they see is they want to ensure that they are going to have greater opportunities to monetize their product IP. I mean, they've said it all along. They've been saying it for a while. So this is why they're doing it. Without allowing things that third parties to mint D&D NFTs and large businesses to exploit our intellectual property. All right. So again, the OGL 1.0 had some gaps in areas that it did not cover. And so they're looking to fill those gaps with some new expanded rules so that they can, again, monetize their IP. First, we're making sure that the OGL 1.1 is clear about what it covers and what it does not. Again, they're very rarely clear about anything. I mean, the old one, they probably said the very same thing, and yet there were gaps. So I would suspect that there'll be a 1.1, there'll be a 1.1A or B or C as they start continuing to draft this thing out and then adjust down the road. It makes it clear it only covers material created for in use in or as TTRPGs. All right. So again, very, very specific nuance here, as it relates only to TTRPG space. So they are not talking about their virtual tabletop, all right, or any of their other products outside that. This OGL 1.1, it only covers material created for use in or as tabletop role-playing games. And those materials are only ever permitted as printed media or static electronic files, PDFs. Other types of content like videos or video games are only possible through the Wizards of the Coast fan content policy or a custom agreement with us. So this is only, again, related to the publications, whether physical or PDF, of tabletop role playing game materials. To clarify, outside of printed materials and static electronic files, the OGL doesn't cover it. All right, so, and again, that's what they were pointing to the OGL 1.1 as being, was not covering that. So they're looking to expand the coverage. While this will this affect D&D content and services players use today? It shouldn't. That doesn't mean it won't. It shouldn't. The top VTT platforms already have custom agreements with Wizards to do what they will. D&D merchandise like minis and novels were never intended to be part of the OGL, and OGL 1.1 won't change that. All right, so you still won't be able to use OGL for merchandising like minis and novels. Again, the VTT platform, remember, it says it shouldn't. That doesn't mean that it won't. And there's a question of whether or not Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or whatever will have to renegotiate what they're already providing with Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro in the future, whether or not they continue to maintain what they already have, or if they're going to have to upgrade the license, and then that will give them access to 1.1 and 6th edition content, whatever you want to call that, whether it remains OneD&D. I've heard it many times now that was just a placeholder. It is 6th edition if they change the rules enough. But anyway, so creators wishing to leverage D&D for those forms of expressions will need, as they always have needed, a custom agreement with us. All right. Second, we're updating the OGL to offer different terms to creators who choose to make free, share alike content, and creators who want to sell their products. All right. So you will not have to use an OGL, from what I'm gathering from this, if you're selling product or exchanging product for free. And that includes, home brewing your material. They have no way of actually blocking this. All right. But if you're going to put something out there on, whether it be Drive-Thru RPG or someplace else with a zero cost, then they're not going to be as stringent with their OGL rules than if you are trying to charge. What does this mean for you as a creator? If you're making a share alike content, very little is going to change from what you already used, right? You'd probably still be able to continue using the OGL 1.0, or you could put OGL 1.1 on it as part of a disclaimer. And if you've actually followed some of the other channels and other commentators, like Questing Beast came out and said that with modification of your product, you don't have to use an OGL at all, as long as you're changing things up enough, including the SRD stat blocks and things like that. You really don't even have to use OGL in order to publish. As long as it's significantly different enough, and you're not doing a cut and paste with any of their writing, then you're good to go. If you're making commercial content, relatively little is going to change for most creators. For most of you who are selling custom content, here are a few things you'll need to know. Accept the license terms and let us know what you're offering for sale. That kind of raises a red flag for me because it's it's in the the present tense. So accept the license terms and let us know what you're offering for sale. That's not past tense. That's not what you have put up for sale. It's what you're looking to sell, and that raises a red flag for me. Um, Report OGL related revenue annually if you make more than 50,000 in a year. Okay, that for the majority of people is not going to affect, especially small time publishers. Um, but it will catch some of the bigger ones. Include creator product badge on your work. I'm not quite sure what that means. And maybe somebody will come in and clarify that for me. When we roll out OGL 1.1, we also provide explanatory videos, FAQs, and web portal for registration to make navigating these requirements as easy and intuitive as possible. We also have available to creators to navigate the new process. Help available, sorry. For the fewer than 20 creators worldwide who make more than $750,000 in income a year, we will add a royalty starting in 2024. So even for creators making significant money selling D&D supplements and games, no royalties will be due for 2023. All revenues below 750 in the future years will be royalty free. Bottom line, the OGL is not going away. You will be able to create new D&D content, publish it anywhere, and the game and game with your friends and followers in all of the ways that make the game and community so great. The thousands of creators publishing across Kickstarter, DM's Guild. Really, DM's Guild doesn't apply to any of this. That's kind of a thing. And more are a critical part of the D&D experience, and we will continue to support and encourage them through OneD&D and beyond. I'm going to touch a little bit upon the 20 creators worldwide, and I'm going to switch back out of views because that was so. For those 20 creators, and let's just use Critical Role for example. I see this as sending a clear message to, Matt Mercer and company, Critical Role. They're going to make their own game system, and they'll roll that out by 2024. And you'll see that they won't have to do any of this. All right. They're not any of these really big companies that are making $1 million+ and like I say, there's possibly 20 of them out there. um, they're they're going to be like, well, no, I'm not moving forward with 1.1. I'm going to continue using the OGL 1.0, and I'll continue making content for the older editions of D&D that I was already doing, in particular 5e. What other game companies, the really large ones that are making well over $1 million, and again, this is probably primarily Critical Role. Um, like I said, they're going to make their own game system, and they're going to go their own way. You won't see them make another product for um, D&D in any form. Most likely, they'll make their own, beat their own path, and and that's a very very likely thing to happen, in my opinion. And I've been saying that for quite a while, actually, that, I can see them going off in their own direction because they only had a 3-book deal with Wizards of the Coast, and they've already created that separation. So I see them going their own path. But for the other larger ones like Cobalt Press or um, I don't know how much Judges Guild still produces, or Frog God Games, or um, Castles and Crusades, and so on. Some of those other larger companies, and I don't know if they make 750,000 plus a year. Anyway, um, they have the wherewithal to modify the game even more so their own individual products, and just abandon the OGL altogether and not run into this problem, or just stay with the old OGL. So if they choose to stay with the old OGL, um, then they don't have any of these new issues coming up for themselves. They won't have to do that. Will Wizards of the Coast then try to argue in a court case that they can't continue producing under the old OGL at that level of production, at that level of earnings? I don't know. It remains to be seen. But what I do see this happening, or potentially causing, is there was already a rift forming between the current 5e community as with the monetization that Hasbro was looking to do, in particular with their VTT. And with D&D Beyond and all of that integration. I think that's what the true meaning of OneD&D was. They weren't talking about unifying all of the different editions into one edition. What they're talking about is unifying the company's product line, so that if you want a PDF, you're going to go to Wizards of the Coast to get the PDF through D&D Beyond. If you want in-game assets for your virtual tabletop, buying that PDF from uh, D&D Beyond is automatically going to give you the assets for the VTT. The VTT is going to be monetized. It's going to be monetized possibly with a subscription cost, where they'll give you in-store credit, in-game credits that you can then buy various cosmetics, or possibly unlocking different classes or subclasses, or races or species, whatever they're going to use for that. Probably species, and basically create a bunch of subscription based and microtransactions and paywalls for certain content, DLCs and such. Um, I am familiar enough, after over 20 years of not only playing MMOs and other computer RPGs, but also being on the end, being at the point of alpha testing, or even pre-alpha testing and beta testing throughout, with literally dozens of MMOs that have been out there, and many of them use this hybrid business model, which is what I think that they're going to end up doing, is going with a hybrid model, a combination of subscription that will give you some store credits to buy these cosmetic items, but then also you can buy the cosmetic items through packages and other things directly. And then they're going to tie. This goes back to the OneD&D. If you want physical copies of these things, so let's say you want the physical copies of the core books for 6e, or whatever they decide to call it. If you buy it from Wizards of the Coast, it's going to come bundled automatically with the PDF and the VTT assets. If you buy it anywhere else, you can still get the physical copy, The hardback copy from Amazon or Target or Walmart or wherever you can get those, but you're not getting the download content. You're not getting the VTT content or the PDF content with that. You can only get that from Wizards of the Coast directly through their trade hub, which is going to be D&D Beyond. And so they're kind of closing the door to physical copies being sold outside of their own. And I think that the player base is going to start looking at this and saying, well, the real game is taking place on the virtual tabletop because that's where Hasbro wants it to be, because that's their recurring revenue stream. Um, if you buy the books, you could play for 10 years, or more. But if you buy into the virtual tabletop, now they got you on the hook with the subscription cost and then wanting the new things that come out of it and everything. So they're kind of, in my opinion, setting aside their concern. They don't so much care about the tabletop role playing aspect of Dungeons and Dragons. It's all about getting people onto their virtual tabletop. All right, and I've seen many articles already written that clearly pointed out uh, Hasbro has hired 350 individuals to work at D&D Beyond, just gearing up for this. All right, they're putting all their eggs in this basket. All right, and they're not, as far as the gaming is concerned. Now they've talked about the four quadrants of of their strategy, their revenue strategy to monetize D&D, the name brand. All right, that's what they're really pushing here, the D&D brand, not the tabletop role playing game. All right, and they feel, and they're probably accurately so, they feel the brand is much more valuable than the tabletop role playing game is, and that the tabletop role playing game is probably the least valuable component to the brand. Um, they're going to make less money on producing hardback books, or they might even take a loss, and they're hoping to pick up from that loss on the digital side. So I think that that's pretty much where they're going with this. Now, from an OSR gamer's opinion, my perspective of it is that, how is this going to play out for the OSR or for independent game companies and everything? I think overall, there's more possibility that Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro uh, alienates enough of their player base that more than half don't go in that direction. Um, and I've made this comment on several other YouTube channels. That there's basically four possibilities that happen here. The first possibility is that everybody playing 5e goes to 6e. Um, I don't see that being anywhere as close to everybody, um, but I couldn't put a percentage on it. And the reason why is it's not just this issue with the new OGL. It's they're dramatically changing your buy-in to the hobby if you do choose to go over to the digital side. You're going to have a recurring cost for um, for playing 6e that you don't currently have if you're playing 5e or earlier. So that's the first thing. So that's one possibility. People from 5e are going to move over to 6e. Um, I don't see anybody in the OSR currently moving over to 6e, like kind of like leapfrogging over 5. Hey, I chose not to play 5e, but now I'm going to play 6e. I don't see that happening at all. I think there's almost 0% chance of that happening. The second group chooses not to move to 6E, and they remain playing 5E as they have been these past 7 years. Very possible. And that might be the bulk, just to be honest with you, my opinion. Another group is going to say, yeah, I'm not interested in that. I don't like how Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro is dealing with me as a gamer. I don't like the fact that they are that they're moving on to something else in a digital aspect of it, and they're worrying about the brand and everything, and the tabletop is like a super afterthought for them. They really don't care about that, and so they're not going to continue. And this is something else that very few people have brought up. At least I haven't come across it yet. They're not going to continue supporting 5e once OneD&D comes out or 6th edition comes out. So you're not going to see Wizards of the Coast creating content for 5e anymore. All right. And so a lot of those people that are in 5e now might actually get so rejected by this move forward that they say, you know what, I'm going to go elsewhere, and they're going to move on to other games. They'll move on to the OSR. They move on to independent games, and so that's another possibility. So far, I have one possibility where they move on, one possibility where they stay put, one possibility where they move on to other OSR games or independent games. And then the fourth possibility, and I hope that this is the smallest number, is there'll be some that says, you know what, I'm just going to leave the hobby altogether, and I'll find something else. I'll give my hand at tabletop wargaming. I'll go to Warhammer 40K and start playing that instead, or I'll go to Avalon Hill Games and doing tabletop wargaming with that or whatever. And they will just move on and leave the hobby altogether. Um, and and people, throughout their lives, I mean, I did it as well. Um, you know, we go do other things, other stuff happens, then later on down the road we come back again. Although some people I'm assuming probably never came back. So that's a possibility. And like I said, I hope it's the smallest number of individuals, because overall I care about the hobby in general, overall, and um, I think that that's probably the best thing for the hobby, is for people to, current players, to either stay with what they're doing. Um, it might be a positive for them to move on, um, but my real hope is that they start looking at the OSR and independent games, and moving away from the big corporate, you know, um, the big corporate model, and coming to these smaller developers and publishers and such, or independent publishers and such, and taking a look at what they have to offer. So again, it's like the difference. Do I go to my local hardware store to buy a hammer, or do I go to Home Depot to buy a hammer? Um, I might pay a little bit less in Home Depot, and Home Depot might be a little bit further. And so when I start evaluating those two things there, I decide to buy local, even though it might be costing me overall a little bit more to do so. Um, and I think people looking at the OSR or independent games might say to themselves, you know what, I I'm giving up something that I could get from the big corporation model, um, but I'd rather give up something there and yet support this here, this smaller company, or this smaller, or and whatnot. So it's people make their decisions based on not always what is the what is the best at one particular thing, rather than overall, is this something that meets more of the things I'm looking for in gaming, and so they stay there where they're more comfortable with. Um, you know, it's it's a question that we don't quite know yet, but we can look at previous times and previous patterns, and with every new edition that has come out in Dungeons and Dragons, there have always been a number of the player base that choose not to move on to the new edition, and they either stay with what they're at, they look elsewhere, or they depart from the hobby altogether. So when we compare that, so we have four different possibilities here, and only one of them is to move forward with 6E. And I think that, in my opinion, that's going to be in comparison to the other three, it's obviously going to be the minority. Um, and again, I'm not putting a percentage on it. I'm not saying, well, 50% are going here and 20% are going to go there or whatnot. Um, you know, I don't think that half are going to move to 6E though. That's just my rough estimate. It won't be half, because um, there are too many hurdles to actually move people to the point where they're going to buy into a recurring cost to do something that in the past you can play for decades without any additional cost to yourself. So, that's a huge hurdle that I really haven't heard very many people come out and say. But again, um, if it's out there, I'd love to see it. So you can always recommend that. So that's my take on OneD&D and the OGL 1.1, and that is my OSR gamer's opinion and perspective on it. And I hope you like this video. Listen, it's open for questions and comments, or whatever you want to go in there and say, hey, you know, this is a bad take. You're wrong. You're welcome to do so. If you want to go in there and say, I agree with you, but, and then here's another way to look at it, I certainly welcome that as well. And if you agree with me, fine, great, give it a thumbs up. And, oh, excuse me, give it a thumbs up and say, hey, I'm right there with you. And I see it the same way, and that's much appreciated as well. I hope you like this video. Please feel free to comment, as I said. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And I look forward to seeing you on the gaming screen sometime soon. We are just about to a big holiday weekend. So if I'm not back on before Friday with another video, enjoy your holiday weekend. Merry Christmas to those of you that observe that. Happy Hanukkah. I know that was a couple days ago. For others, and any other holidays that you have going through this. I will certainly be back on after the weekend. Might even be possibly later on Easter Sunday. I mean Christmas Sunday. And then certainly by Monday or Tuesday, I will be back online and doing videos. So have a great weekend. Enjoy. Stay safe out there. The Northeast is getting slammed with a big storm tonight and into tomorrow. So be safe if you're traveling, and stay warm, because it's supposed to be like flash freezes and everything. I've never heard that before. But as always, look forward to seeing you on the gaming screen sometime soon. And be safe and enjoy your weekend. Take care.